Okay, so good evening. It is 7 o'clock. We have a quorum. So I hereby call this meeting of council to order. Welcome to folks in the gallery here tonight and those who are watching from home. Reminder that we are on live, but it is available, this meeting is available for future viewing on our website or YouTube channel and also available on Tellil for the next week or so. So I'll begin by acknowledging that we are gathered here today in Unama'ki, the land of the fog, a part of Mi'kma'ki, the unceded traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq people since time immemorial. We honor and thank the Mi'kmaq for sharing their land and home with us. So I would ask that everyone stand insofar as you're able for the playing of O Canada. Okay, I'll ask the CAO to take the roll call of councillors, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councillor Sean Sampson.
Present.
Thank you. District 2, Warden Lois Landry.
Present.
Thank you. District 3, Councillor Brian Marchand.
Present.
District 4, Deputy Warden Amanda Mombercat.
Present.
Thank you. And District 5, Councillor Brent Sampson. Thank you. The roll has been called, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. You have the agenda in front of you that was circulated last week. Are there any additions to the agenda as circulated? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda as circulated. Moved by Deputy Warden Mombercat. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Brent Sampson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. So you have two sets of minutes in our package for those folks following along at home. The first is on page 4 in your electronic package. That is the public meeting that was held on December 16th. If there are no errors or omissions, I would entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of the public hearing of December 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Warden Mombercat. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Sean Sampson. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? Motion carries. The December 16th meeting of the regular council is attached in your package, pages 5 to 12. And if there are no errors or omissions, I would entertain a motion to approve the December 16th, 2025 minutes as circulated. It's moved by Councillor Sean Sampson. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Deputy Warden Mombercat. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? Motion carries. So we're going to open up question period for 10 minutes. And a reminder up front, this is restricted to items on the committee reports. The number to call is 902-226-9885. There's a bit of a delay. So a reminder, this was procedurally added so that before we vote on any of the items in the committee reports, if the public had any concerns, we could hear them. So we'll just wait a minute or two in case there's a phone call that we're waiting to come through. Okay, so hearing no questions from the phone line and none from the crowd here, we'll move on to committee reports. So we have two to review this evening. First is Committee of the Whole, and so I will call on Deputy Warden Mumbercat for the Committee of the Whole report for January of 2026.
Okay. Thank you, Warden. Committee of the Whole report for January 2026. The committee met on January 13th, 2026. The committee discussed the Navigate Energy Net Zero Community Buildings project. I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and direct staff to further explore the Net Zero Community Buildings project, potentially issuing a call for expressions of interest to determine if any halls are interested and other ways the municipality can contribute.
I have a mover. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
That's on or not. There we go. Okay. The committee discussed the letter from Nicholas McGuinness, Warden, Municipality of the County of Antigonish, to the Honourable Tim Houston regarding the declining cell service in Antigonish County. I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and authorize the Warden and CAO to reach out to neighbouring towns and municipalities to discuss the issue of declining and deteriorating cell service.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Brent Sampson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favour signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
The committee discussed bylaw number 56, tax exemption bylaw. I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and authorize the Warden to write a letter to the Minister of Municipal Affairs requesting adjustments to the Municipal Government Act to enable municipalities to provide tax rebates and incentives to residential affordable housing developers, and further to request that this become an advocacy item for the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities and to copy our regional partners on the correspondence.
There's a mover. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Sean Sampson. Any discussion on that? Okay, hearing none. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole and direct staff to send a letter to current exempt organizations, encouraging them to consider appealing their assessed values if appropriate.
So moved by the Deputy Warden and seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand. Any discussion on that? All those in favour signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
This concludes the Committee of the Whole report for the month of January 2026, and I move its adoption.
Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by Councillor Brent Sampson, that we adopt the Committee of the Whole report for January 2026. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the Planning Advisory Heritage Committee report for January of 2026. I'll turn this over to the Chair, Brent Sampson, Councillor District 5.
Planning Advisory Heritage Committee report, January 2026. The committee met on January 6, 2026. The committee discussed the Eastern District Planning Commission process and timelines for handling dangerous and unsightly complaints. I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Planning Advisory Heritage Committee and direct EDPC staff to review and update their policy on dangerous and unsightly complaint process timelines and response standards, and further move that Council direct EDPC staff to report to Council twice annually, confirming whether or not any orders exist.
Moved by Councillor Brent Sampson, seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
The committee discussed the Coastal Protection Support Program. I move that Council accept the recommendation of the Planning Advisory Heritage Committee and approve, in principle, joining other municipalities in applying for the Coastal Protection Support Program funding for an educational component, and further move that Council direct EDPC staff to submit a standalone application on behalf of Richmond County if the other municipalities are unable to commit.
So moved by Councillor Brent Sampson, seconded by Deputy Warden Mumbercat. Any discussion on that? I will let you know that it was decided that all the municipalities are going to move ahead. So that application will be submitted by the deadline of February 11th. And with you, yep, yes, yep, yep. Yes, so there will be standalone reports. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
The committee discussed the Central Richmond Plan Area, RG2 zone. I move that council accept the recommendation of the Planning Advisory Heritage Committee and direct EDPC to prepare a staff report reviewing lot sizes in rural areas under all of Richmond County's land use bylaws.
Moved by Councillor Brent Sampson, seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand. Any other discussion on that? Go ahead.
Thank you. So we had some discussions as well about action items. So will this be sent now to EDPC, this motion here, and they will have a report for our February 3rd meeting?
Don't know if it'll be ready
No.
for them, but it will go for them as
To-
follow-up.
Yeah, and to be clear, there is an action item list for them, but at the PAC meeting, I believe we prioritized for them the motion of PAC, which eventually was moved and passed by council, to give us the information about how to redo all of our land use bylaws, because budget time requires that we have that information. So in the prioritizing, we made our first priority that report. So whether or not that gets done plus this, but we can at the next PAC certainly dive a little deeper into prioritizing all of those. But it is on the, it will be on the action list for our PAC meeting. Okay.
This is pretty important.
Yep. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
This concludes the monthly report of the Planning Advisory Heritage Committee for the month of January 2026, and I move its adoption.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the report, seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand. Yes, okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. So now we'll move on to new business. So there is a briefing note in your packages, and there are two parts to it, really. There is the briefing note, pages 15 to 17, and then there are numerous staff reports going back, just so that you'd have them all in front of you. Those are from pages 18 to 41 of your package. So essentially, I believe my interpretation of our last year and a bit is that there has been an appetite around the table here to make repairs necessary at our current arena to make sure that it lives for as long as we can, and that we don't have to worry about closures and so on. We need, staff is asking, and I think it's prudent, that we commit to a borrowing resolution with, of course, the understanding that we are actively pursuing all funding available through all levels of government, private partnerships, et cetera. But in order for us to move through with, you know, even supply chain issues and all of that, looking for a motion, which is on the second page of your briefing note, that council approve the temporary borrowing resolution in the amount of $5 million to enable staff to proceed with securing the required funding to advance the Richmond Arena floor upgrades. Moved by Councillor Marchand. Do we have a seconder for the purpose of discussion?
Sure.
Seconded by Councillor Sean Sampson. Discussion on the matter? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Warden. So just wanted to provide council with a little update as well, that I, since this arrived on the agenda, I had some folks reach out in the community to me asking about the new facility that we had been looking into. And talking about the congestion when there's away teams visiting sometimes in the hallways, especially for people when they're, if you're in a wheelchair, the hallways are fairly narrow, large goalie gear, lots of people. So as much as we've discussed this at Committee of the Whole, and I know that this borrowing resolution will enable our staff to make some moves, I do think we still need to consider what we're going to be doing going forwards. And I know that we've discussed that at length, but I did just want to put it on the record because I had heard from some folks and I want them to know that we hear them, right? So thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on the matter? Hearing none, I would look, go ahead, sorry.
One question for Troy. So Troy, am I assuming that the timeline's not there to get this work done in the summer of 2026? Or do you think it can be put together quick enough to get it? We don't want to wait too late.
No, we don't. We're going to go as quickly as we can, but the ability to get contractors at this point, there is no guarantee on anything. I can't tell you it's going to happen in our 26 off season. I can't tell you that with any commitment.
And I think we also spoke about, this borrowing resolution would give us the leeway to purchase the equipment and the materials, because the last thing we want is a contractor, but not the materials that would be necessary. So, it's to be determined exactly when. I think we've also had a commitment, and this is something, to your point, Deputy Warden, I want to say, I think we are deeply committed to doing work in the off season. I actually had somebody ask, like, are you shutting down the arena before this tournament? Like, it is a commitment from us to do this in the off season. Sorry, Councillor Marchand.
Yeah, I guess that was my second question. Just about if we do this, the equipment, because he wants new design, new drawings, the equipment is going to be ordered as soon as you can to get it here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And again, I do want to say that so there have been active conversations about, secure any funding we can get from everybody who would help us with this. So there is a motion of council to pursue all of that. So I know we often bring requests for letters to council, but I assume with your permission, anything I can do in the form of letters to expedite applications, we're going to be sending those without delay. So. Yeah, right. That's right. Exactly. I know. Just wanted to kind of put that out there.
Madam Chair, if I may add as well, where we are pursuing both federal and provincial funding streams as well, we have to make sure that we do not put any shovels in any ground before that funding is secured as well, because once you do, a lot of those streams do not allow you to partake. So all these timing benchmarks have to line up for us. We have to give ourselves a chance. Now that we have a scope of the project and the cost estimate of the project, we can go after these funding streams now. It's just we can't start until decisions are made on some of these. Sometimes, depending on the grant, they'll allow once your submission is in for you to go for it, whether you're successful or not. But other ones, no shovels in the ground until we have approval on these grant applications.
Go ahead, Councillor.
So by shovels in the ground, you don't mean purchasing equipment. It's just to start tearing apart, demolishing, preparing. So you can still go ahead and start sourcing out materials that are needed. Would that prevent?
This is going to be tendered as well, right? So that'll be part of that as well.
And I think it would be incumbent upon us to have those conversations with potential funders as well. So, dear provincial government, what can we start before we become ineligible because we did too much? So all of those would be part and parcel of the conversations.
And we have fund navigators that we work with on that to make sure that we don't put a foot wrong.
Yep.
But if we know that this contractor is getting, has been awarded the contract, they can start ordering stuff in June and July if they know they're going to start working at later in the summer, right? So it's just what we'll be able to do and what's going to be under the control of the contractor. I don't know where that divide is, but we'll be moving as quickly as we can on this because our off season, it seems like it's a long time, but it's really not.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have a motion and a mover and a seconder. So all those in favor of the motion on the floor to approve the temporary borrowing resolution in the amount of $5 million to enable staff to proceed with securing the required funding to advance the Richmond Arena floor upgrades, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, sit back for a moment while I read the resolution. Municipal Council of Richmond County, temporary borrowing resolution, amount $5 million, purpose Richmond Arena upgrades. Whereas Section 66 of the MGA requires or provides that the Council of the Municipality of the County of Richmond, subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs, may borrow to expend funds for capital purpose as authorized by statute. Whereas the Council of the Municipality of the County of Richmond has adopted a capital budget for this fiscal year as required by Section 65 of the Municipal Government Act and are so authorized to expend funds for a capital purpose as identified for in their capital budget. And whereas the Council of the Municipality of the County of Richmond has determined to borrow for the purposes of Richmond Arena upgrades, be it therefore resolved that the authority of Section 66 of the Municipal Government Act of the Council of the Municipality of the County of Richmond borrow a sum or sums not exceeding $5 million for the purpose set out above, subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs, that the sum be borrowed by the issue and sale of debentures of the Council of the Municipality of the County of Richmond to such an amount as the Council deems necessary, that the issue of the debenture be postponed pursuant to Section 92 of the MGA, and that Council borrow from time to time a sum or sums not exceeding $5 million in total from any chartered bank or trust company doing business in Nova Scotia. That the sum of the sum be borrowed for a period not exceeding 12 months from the date of the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs of this resolution, that the interest payable on the borrowing be paid at a rate to be agreed upon, and that the amount borrowed be repaid from the proceeds of the debenture when sold. This is to certify that the foregoing is a true copy of resolution read and passed at the Municipality of the County of Richmond on today's date. Okay, so moving on to correspondence. So we have two pieces of correspondence that require or potentially could require action on our part. The first is from Mayor Sean Cameron from the town of Antigonish. If you're following along at home, that's on page 42 of your package, and it is a letter requested from us advocating the construction of the new secondary permanent road to St. Martha's. So essentially they are asking for us to send a letter to our MP and our MLA for the immediate construction of a new secondary permanent road at St. Martha's Hospital. So not sure what council's appetite is for that. Go ahead, Councillor Sampson.
Yeah, I can understand exactly where this come from over the last few months, like some of the delays, half hour or more, trying to get through there. So if there was an emergency, at times it would have been a mess. And like, you know, I'm no road builder, and I'll apologize to anybody listening from Antigonish, but like even if you look on the maps up Cloverville Road, there's probably ways of cutting across to make a secondary route that's not, you know, not impossible, I would think. The only other loops around to get to this, you know, would take maybe close to an hour or something. So it does seem like a bit of a bottleneck, especially for a main hospital, right?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just thinking about it. There we go. Thank you, Warden. So having lived for many years in that area of town, in Antigonish, I can attest to the comment about it passing through a flood zone. I can clearly remember that area flooding. You know, as we see our climate problems get more and more severe and, you know, disasters becoming more critical, I think it would be prudent to have a more direct path through, and so I would agree with Councillor Brent's comments. You know, this is our regional hospital, and I think we need to be working together to safeguard our access to it in the long run, not just during this period of construction mayhem, which I understand has been very frustrating, but for the long term. So I would definitely be willing to make a motion that we ask you to write a letter to Mayor Cameron and to our Member of Parliament and our local MLA to advocate for the construction of a new secondary permanent road to the hospital.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. I would look for a seconder, and then we can have so seconded by Councillor Brian Marchand to write the letter as requested, including the mayor. Any other discussion on that? Go ahead.
Would it make sense to maybe include the Minister of Public Works provincially as well? Because I think that would be a good add on that.
Do you want to make that amendment?
Yeah, I'll make that amendment if somebody wants to second that, to add the Provincial Minister of Public Works.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Sampson that the Public Works Minister be included, seconded by Deputy Wharton. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. So back to the original motion, which will now include Public Works being copied on this. Now that, so we voted on the amendment. So now the motion includes the letter to MLA, MP, Public Works Minister for the province, and including the mayor for the town of Antigonish. Any other discussion on that? Yep. Yes. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. So moving on to next correspondence, which is on the next couple of pages. So this is a request from the new principal of the regional campus. And so the request is to join a municipal leaders partnership table related to the new regional service delivery model at NSCC.
So I'm going to just take a moment and declare conflict on this one, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very okay.
Yeah.
Because I
You looked like you had a question, so I.
yeah, no, it makes reference to you.
Yes, it does.
But
Exactly.
it makes reference to you, which
In my capacity here,
in your capacity here.
Yes.
So you're declaring a conflict because
I also work
an
there.
employee.
That's correct.
So I think that's reasonable for you to leave.
Yes.
And then
All right.
I just would like to I have a suggestion. So number one, we would bring anything that involves any spending, we would bring that to the table. So if somebody's going to pay mileage for someone to attend that should have council approval. Whenever we have somebody from council who's on a committee, this council and the previous council have been really good about getting that matrix kind of up to snuff and making sure that we're only on committees that we should be on. I would like to just remind us of the solid waste committee request that came in that was very much like this. So we had a request from, I believe it was Inverness, to join a solid waste committee. What we agreed is that one of us, so it ended up being me, would join for a year to see if that was worth continuing before we put it on the matrix. And as you know, within that year, it was sort of agreed by the entire committee that this committee was better off if just staff went. So I'm wondering if there's an appetite to commit to going to these meetings for a year, and then revisit it after a year to see if it's something we want to do in the long term. But I do think it would be the warden and one other of our choosing. So that's just to bring it to kind of parallel to that solid waste committee meeting. Yes, go ahead. Oh, is that
No, I'd be willing to make that motion. I really like that idea of giving it a 1 year, almost like a trial period. So to ask that the warden attend as well as another person from council for the first year, and then make a determination to see whether or not we think this is a worthwhile endeavor for the county to be involved in.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Sean Sampson. Any discussion on that? Go ahead, Councillor.
Are you saying to not pay mileage?
No.
To pay mileage? Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So just because it's not in the matrix, does that mean we wouldn't get paid?
No, I got invited to a meeting, but this is not a one-off. This is a you should come all the time. If there's meetings I'm attending regularly or you were attending regularly, I would expect council to have given its blessing to that. So that's why we brought it here. In terms of putting it on the matrix, I think a good practice is to just say, let's commit to this for a year, and then if we don't think there's merit to this committee, or that maybe it's staff that should go, that the solid waste committee is a very valuable one, it's just we determined it was better for staff. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, so hearing no other discussion on that, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. So what I would suggest, though, is that we would have a councillor in addition to the warden. But I think since Deputy Warden has declared a conflict, I think that it's reasonable that somebody else go. She'll be there. Happy to be? Great. Any other takers? Great. So, nope, that's great. Thanks very much for that. So Councillor Marchand and I will attend quarterly for the next year, and then we'll report back. Okay. Somebody want to let Deputy Warden know we're good to go?
Yeah, you're good.
Good for you. Okay, good. Okay, so then we also have, for folks following along at home, starting on page 46, we have a reply to the letter from that we sent Fred Tilley, the Minister of Public Works, and that letter is also included there. So we sent a letter on December 19th, and we got a reply on January 14th, I think that says. And so it sounds like they were certainly understanding of our request on the Mulgrave situation. And then the next one we got is from EDPC dated January 15th, which is the operating estimates which they are required to provide us each year around this time. So 2 correspondents there. Any questions on any of those?
The mayor of Richmond County.
Sorry?
The mayor of Richmond County was,
Oh,
yeah.
silly.
The name is not right.
Although, who knows? Yeah. Okay, so,
It's right on yours, though.
yes. There you go. Yeah. Oh, that's where that came from. Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, the mayor of Mulgrave actually wrote the person who sent this and made sure that was corrected. So, anyway. Okay, so moving on, we have the unfinished business. So we have proposed sale of a municipal property. So I will let.
So I'll declare a conflict on this.
So we're on.
Oh,
Yeah, I said them both. Do you have questions on that one? I read them, I listed them both and I said.
Oh, I thought you said you read this. No, I don't have questions.
Okay, yep. Okay. So, great. Yeah. So, thank you. Councillor Brent Sampson has declared a conflict on this a couple of times. Where we are at this point is sale of municipal property. So we are considering here this evening the proposed sale of municipal properties located at Lot 1A and B, Basin Subdivision Road. Properties have an appraised value of $60,000. We did hear at our public hearing, we looked it up, it's actually, the assessed value is even less than $60,000. And these lands are proposed to be sold at $33,000 to facilitate the development of 12 affordable housing units pursuant to a tender submission by Brila Construction. So according to Section 51 of the Municipal Government Act, The process requires two motions. One, and I'll read it if we are interested in so moving. So that council approve under Section 51 of the Municipal Government Act the sale of Lot 1A and Lot 1B in the Basin Road subdivision in Evanston, AAN 09633618, corresponding PID 75190801, and AAN 09633766, corresponding PID 75190819, at a price less than market value at the bid of $33,000 for the purpose of a affordable housing development. So before I ask for someone who's prepared to make that motion, I should let you know that all items within Section 51 of the MGA require two-third majority vote. So that means that it requires 3 people of the 4 people around this table. So ironically, because Brent has gone, 2 wouldn't get it 50% anyway, but just so you know, it has to pass with 2/3. So 3 of 4 people have to. And if we don't pass here, we don't move on to the second motion. So if interested, I'm looking for a motion that council approve that sale.
We're now prepared to make the motion that we sell Lot 1A and 1B to to Bryla Construction for the price that they have put in their tender documents. And I would like the agreement that gets created between the municipality and Bryla Construction to be, I don't know if I should put that in there, but
There's a second motion.
is the second motion the
The
agreement?
second motion that I will be looking for if the first one passes, according to our lawyers and all the.
This is just the numbers.
Right.
Okay.
Says based on the recommendation of the evaluation subcommittee. So I'm thinking what you're referring to and stipulations would be better off in the second motion.
Yeah,
if
no,
the
that's
first
fine.
one passes.
That's fine. I should have asked you what the second was
Sure,
for.
fair enough, yeah.
So I guess my motion will be to sell Lot 1A and Lot 1B at at the price that was circulated in our public hearing and in our documents from Bryla Construction.
And I,
Do you want the PID numbers?
yeah, so.
Okay, so PID 75190801 and PID number 75190819.
So the motion on the floor is to sell them at the price listed, which is below
Market
the.
appraised value.
Yeah, I see. So any other any discussion on that?
Did we get a second?
Oh, sorry, yes.
No,
Seconder.
somebody's, yeah.
Yeah, right, sorry. Yes, so seconded by Councillor Son Sampson. Okay, so, thank you. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. So then, the second motion I'm looking for, which you can amend as you see fit, that council, based on the recommendation of the evaluation subcommittee, authorize the CAO to award MOCR 2025-14 tender to Bryla Construction. So that's the motion I'm looking for. If you'd like to make a motion with addendums or.
I'll move that, because I can't make an amendment without it moved.
No, I don't mean amendment.
Yeah.
If you want to make a
So if no
motion-
one else wants to move it,
You can move
You
it
can-
though and add on to it.
yeah.
You can make a motion.
I'm going to
with
move
your
that, yeah. I'm going to move that with the
addition.
addition that I guess, should we all be involved in the agreement that gets produced, just to ensure some of the comments that we heard in the public hearing are addressed?
So with the agreement for me that I'd circulate the development agreement prior to,
Well,
that I will circulate the development agreement to council prior to executing with the developer to ensure that any of the concerns that were raised at the public hearing and raised around this table are captured within that document. 100%.
Okay, so can I, just for clarity, can you, so can I just reword just to make sure I've captured it correctly? So you're moving the council, based on the recommendation of the evaluation subcommittee, authorize the CAO to award MOCR 202514 tender to Brela Construction with the agreement being circulated to council to capture concerns voiced to us before it is signed. Okay. That is the motion on the floor. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Seconded by Deputy Warden Mumbercat. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, Mr.
Thank you, Council.
Councillor Sampson, come on back. Okay, so review of action items. You have on pages 53 to 60 of your package, you have action items there. Happy to have questions put to us or the CAO if you have questions about anything there. Hearing none. And since there were no items added to the agenda, we'll open up for a 10-minute question period now. Reminder, question period is restricted to items on the agenda that followed the committee reports, but they can include items on our action list. So we'll take questions from the gallery or by phone. For folks watching at home, residents can call 902-226-9885. There is a slight delay, so we will wait a bit. Always catches us off guard.
Indeed. One of the things that Martin missed in his notes was the airport, the joint airport, that circulation.
Yes. You mean
I think you're good, Board.
so? With no other items on the agenda, I declare this meeting adjourned.
I gotta get on the road, but, because I gotta be.
He's going to New Glasgow. Or where are you going, Truro?